The night before our wedding, my fiancée's bridesmaid accidentally added me to their group chat where she wrote, "Don't worry, I'll still sneak away with my ex before the honeymoon." I just read in silence. The next morning, she discovered why no groom showed up. It was 11 p.m. the night before my wedding. I should have been trying to sleep or maybe having a quiet drink with my brother. Instead, I was sitting on the edge of a bed in a luxurious hotel suite, staring at my phone and watching my entire future go up in flames. The strangest part? I felt nothing. Let's start from the beginning. I'm Ben, 35, and I run a catering business. I spend my days making other people's special occasions perfect. It's a demanding job, but I excel at it. For the last 3 years, the big occasion I was planning was my own wedding. My fiancée Olivia was the quintessential girl next door. Sweet, beautiful, and the type you introduce to your parents. At least, that's how I saw her. But over the last year, there was this strange undercurrent. His name is Alex, her ex, the one she couldn't quite let go of, or so the story went. She insisted he was ancient history, just a phase she had moved past. But his name kept coming up. I'm not the jealous type, but I'm not naive either. The way her eyes lit up when she mentioned him and how defensive she became when I asked about him were clear warning signs. About 6 months ago, I laid it all out for her. I told her I couldn't spend my life with someone who was still hung up on her past. I said it was disrespectful, and if she wasn't fully committed to our relationship, we needed to end things. She cried, swore I was the only one she wanted, and promised she wouldn't speak to him again. I believed her. I chose to trust her. Back to the hotel. We had booked the entire floor for the wedding party. I was in my suite. She was down the hall with her bridesmaids. My phone pinged with a notification that I had been added to a group chat called Livy's Bride Tribe. I thought it was a mistake. One of her friends must have hit the wrong button. Just as I was about to leave the group, messages started pouring in, and I could see the entire chat history. My heart sank. It was a record of my own demise. Her friends were asking if she was nervous, if she was ready for this. Her maid of honor, Chloe, wrote, "Are you sure you're ready to be tied down to Mr. Safe and Stable for the rest of your life? Last chance to run for the hills." Then, Olivia replied, "The wedding is just a formality. The party will be epic, and he's paying for everything. LOL. Don't worry. I'll still sneak away with Alex for a real celebration before the honeymoon." I just stared at that message. He's paying for everything. LOL. A real celebration. Another bridesmaid chimed in, "Just for one night." Olivia responded almost immediately, "One night for now. He's so clueless. I can do it whenever I want. Ben will never know. He loves me too much to ever question anything." I sat there reading it over and over. I wasn't angry or hurt. It was as if a light bulb went off in my head. All the little doubts and red flags snapped into focus. This wasn't a last-minute case of cold feet. This was a carefully thought-out plan. I wasn't her partner. I was her bank, the boring, stable fool funding her life while she plotted secret escapades with her ex. I didn't leave the group chat or type anything. I just silenced my phone, took a screenshot of the entire conversation, and began to devise a new plan. My wedding was still happening tomorrow, and she was going to get the performance of a lifetime, but she wouldn't be the star, she'd be the punchline. Update 1. The next morning, I woke up feeling oddly calm. I knew exactly what I had to do. My brother, who was my best man, entered my suite around 8 a.m. He sensed something was off. "You okay, man?" he asked. "You look weirdly calm." "I'm better than okay," I replied, showing him the screenshots. He read them, his expression growing darker with each line. When he finished, he just looked at me. "We're calling this off, right?" "Nope," I said, a slow smile spreading across my face. "We're going through with it, but we're making a few changes to the program. I need your help." My plan was straightforward, yet ruthless. Olivia wanted a movie. I was going to give her a thriller with a shocking twist she'd never expect. First, I needed to get Alex to the wedding. I used a burner phone app to send him a text pretending to be Olivia. It read, "I can't do it, Alex. I'm making a huge mistake. I'm at the chapel. Please just come. I'll leave with you. I love you." It was cheesy, but exactly the kind of thing he'd fall for. Next, I contacted the AV company I had hired for the reception. I had connections in the event industry, and I knew the owner. I told him I had a last-minute surprise for the bride, a special slideshow I wanted to be played on the big projector screen behind the altar during the groom's speech. No questions asked. He agreed, saying, "You got it, Ben." Then I got ready. I put on my tux, went downstairs, took pictures with my groomsmen, and greeted the arriving guests. I was the perfect, happy groom while Olivia was still in her suite, completely oblivious, likely texting her bridesmaids about the real celebration ahead. The ceremony began. I stood at the altar, watching her walk down the aisle. She looked stunning, a perfect fraud. She took my hand, her eyes sparkling. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. The officiant went through his speech, then it was time for the vows. He turned to me and asked, "Do you, Ben, take Olivia to be your lawfully wedded wife?" I took a deep breath, looked at Olivia's hopeful face, then at our friends and family. Finally, I glanced at the back of the chapel, where a confused guy in a leather jacket had just slipped in. Alex had arrived. I turned back to the officiant. "No," I said, my voice clear and steady. "I don't." A gasp rippled through the crowd. Olivia's smile vanished, replaced with pure shock. "In fact," I continued, taking the officiant's microphone, "I think there are a few things everyone here should know." I pointed to the back of the chapel. "Alex, glad you could make it. Olivia will be thrilled to see you." All heads turned. Alex looked like he wanted to disappear. "You see, folks," I said, my voice booming through the speakers, "I was accidentally added to the bridal party group chat last night, and it was very, very enlightening. I learned that my fiancée, the woman standing before you, was planning on having a real celebration with her ex-boyfriend, Alex, before our honeymoon. I also learned that I am so clueless that she could do it whenever she wanted, and I would never know." I glanced at her bridesmaids, who were all staring at the floor. "But, you know, I'm a visual learner, so I thought it would be best to just show you what I'm talking about." I nodded to the AV booth. The massive screen behind us, which had been displaying a tasteful floral arrangement, flickered to life, revealing the entire screenshot of their group chat in giant, high-definition letters for everyone to see. "He's paying for all of it. LOL. I'll still sneak away with Alex." The chapel was silent. You could hear a pin drop. Then came the gasps. I saw Olivia's father, a big, intimidating man, rise to his feet, his face purple with rage. I looked at Olivia. Her face was a mix of tears and horror. Her perfect movie had just turned into a nightmare. "So, the wedding is off," I announced. "But the $150,000 party is very much on. Please, everyone, enjoy the food, the open bar, and the band. I'd like to dedicate the first song to my ex-fiancée. It's called Liar." I dropped the mic, turned around, and walked down the aisle past the stunned faces of our guests. My brother and groomsmen followed me. As I exited the chapel, I heard the first notes of the song starting to play, the sound of my freedom. Update 2. The scene I left behind in that chapel was a total meltdown. Alex, the ex, apparently bolted the moment everyone's attention was on the screen. Smart move. Olivia's father started yelling. Not at me, but at her. The bridesmaids were in tears. It was chaos. I didn't see any of it. I went straight to the reception hall, which was in another part of the estate. My catering staff, whom I had informed earlier that day, were prepared. They opened the bar, began passing appetizers, and the band I'd worked with for years launched into upbeat party music. My friends and family trickled in a few minutes later, looking shell-shocked but also impressed. My dad hugged me tightly, almost breaking my ribs, simply saying, "That's my boy." About 30 minutes into my freedom party, the doors to the reception hall burst open. It was Olivia, her father, and her mother. She had removed her veil, and her makeup was a disaster. Her father looked like he wanted to kill someone. "You," he bellowed, pointing at me, "have humiliated my daughter. You have humiliated my family. I will sue you for everything you have. I just took a sip of my whiskey. No, you won't, I replied calmly. Because if you do, the first thing my lawyer will do is introduce evidence. A sworn statement from every single one of those bridesmaids about the conversation they had last night. Not to mention the screenshots, which I have already sent to him. Your daughter wasn't humiliated. She was exposed. There's a difference. Her mother started in on me then. How could you be so cruel, Ben, after everything we've done for you? Everything you've done for me. I laughed. I paid for this. I covered every flower, every chair, every drop of champagne you're about to drink. This entire event was funded by the clueless guy your daughter was planning to cheat on. So, please enjoy the party. Finally, Olivia found her voice. It was a mistake, Ben, she cried. I was just scared. I didn't mean it. You meant every word, I said, my voice turning icy. And the line about him paying for everything really sealed the deal. You didn't make a mistake. You made a plan, and your plan failed. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have about 300 guests here to celebrate my narrow escape. Security will see you out. I had hired extra security for the event as part of my backup plan. 2 large men politely but firmly escorted the 3 of them out of the reception hall. The party continued. It was the best and most expensive breakup party in history. We enjoyed fancy food, drank top-shelf liquor, and danced until 2 a.m. The next day, the real cleanup began. I had my lawyer send a formal letter to Olivia and her family, including a detailed invoice for her half of all the non-refundable wedding costs, totaling just over $75,000. The letter also informed her that I had canceled our 5-star, 3-week honeymoon to Bali, and she was responsible for half of the significant cancellation fee. The letter concluded by stating that if she refused to pay, I would pursue the matter in civil court, where evidence of her fraudulent intentions to enter into the marriage would be made public. Her father paid the bill a week later. There was no note. Final update. It's been 6 months. The dust from the explosion has finally settled. The story of our wedding has become legendary in our town. Everyone has their own version, but the screenshots of that group chat, which inevitably leaked, ensured the truth was never in doubt. Olivia's life, from what I hear, is a disaster. Her reputation is in tatters. Her family, deeply embarrassed, has apparently put her on a very short leash. She had to find a real job. The life of leisure she thought she had secured with me is gone. Her friends, the bridesmaids who eagerly participated in her deceit, also faced their own consequences. Chloe, the maid of honor, was actually dumped by her own fiancé after he found out what happened. Apparently, he decided he didn't want to marry a woman whose idea of friendship was to encourage betrayal. I saw Olivia once, a few weeks ago at a coffee shop. She was alone, staring into her cup. She looked small. The bright, confident life of the party persona was gone. She looked up and saw me. There was a flicker of panic in her eyes, then she just looked away, her face flushed with what I hope was shame. I just got my coffee and left. The ultimate revenge wasn't the public humiliation or the money. It was simply revealing the truth. She had built her life on lies and manipulation, and all I did was knock out the main support beam. The rest came crashing down on its own. I'm dating again. Someone real, someone who laughs with me, not at me. Someone who understands that a relationship is a partnership, not a heist. Olivia wanted a movie. She wanted to be the romantic heroine torn between 2 loves. But she misread the script. She wasn't the heroine. She was the villain. And in my story, the villain doesn't get a happy ending. She just gets what she deserves.